Monday had 9 games on. Cade Cunningham got hurt. He came back. He was huge. He wrecked your field goals. He wrecked your free throws. He did everything. It was just a massive game from Cade, but a massive day in the NBA in general. We'll break it all down right now. Michael Bolton.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy, your daily NBA fantasy podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd, and unfortunately I have to announce that it's over. I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Thank you also for making Locked On Fantasy Basketball your first listen every day, and thank you for making the Locked On Podcast Network the #1 sports podcast network. You've done it. We've done it. And I appreciate all the help. And let's also push this to 100 subs. 100K, well, we've got 100. Let's get to 100K subs. Let's get 100K likes on this video. Not going to happen. But yeah, it's been great. And everyone, thank you for pushing us to that spot. Let's go in and let's just talk about the games. There are 9 of them on. There's a little bit of news to cover off immediately, so we might as well get straight into that. And then we'll get some waiver trends, and then we'll talk about those 9 games. Let's start with a bit of news things, and we've got an injury update on Bradley Beal. It apparently is a long-term injury. That's what Ty Lue said. It's a hip-based thing, something that was from his Phoenix days and happened a couple of games ago, I think against Phoenix actually this season. And we'll talk more about that Clippers game right at the end of the show, but that's not great. Obviously, we're dropping Brad Beal. In fact, we might be jacking him instead.
Get that garbage out of here!
And yeah, it's just been a disastrous start for him in LA. Jalen Green, no update. It doesn't sound good, but they're running multiple tests, whatever that means. I would expect that we're talking 6 weeks for Green, but we will find out when eventually they tell us what the story is. Let's have a look at some waiver wire trends now before we get into the games. Who's been the most added player, the most dropped players over the last 48 hours? The most added player was Trendon Watford, and then how he performs in the next game is going to be really interesting. The second most added player is Jaylon Tyson, who had really good games. And then Darius Garland came back. But guess what? Darius Garland got hurt again today. So yeah, Jaylon Tyson, add him and hold him. Nikola Jovic, we'll talk about that Heat game. Of course, he did come off the bench again in that game. He's a very up and down player. We'll talk about that. Reed Shepherd, I think Reed, despite Houston's bad schedule this week, is a must-roster guy. And then Dylan Brooks, with the aggravation of the injury to Jalen Green, it makes sense to be adding Dylan Brooks, along with Royce O'Neal and Colin Gillespie. The most dropped players. Number 1 on that list is the national tile, Jarris Walker. Hello. He's been bad, obviously, but they've got a really good little schedule. So if you can deal with it, if you can deal with the nonsense and the bad field goals and just want volume in, I get it. But also, see you later. D'Angelo Russell lost his starting spot again, which he never really had, I guess. We thought he would, and then he never started, but then he did start, and now he's gone again. You could drop him. Terrence Mann, they've got an okay little schedule patch coming up, but he's obviously been not good. Derek Jones and Ryan Dunn were great streams for last week, and that last week is over. So I wouldn't say that they're guys that you necessarily need to go and hold. Now let's get into the games. First one, Portland and Orlando. We'll talk about the Orlando side of this in a sec, but 115, 112, Orlando gets the win. On the Portland side, we talk about the buy low bumps all the time, and Shaedon Sharpe had been struggling, and we talked about his difference in 9-cat value versus his difference in 8-cat value, and Shaedon Sharpe had a huge game. But don't get too fooled by this. 31 points is huge, but 3 rebounds, 1 assist, no steals, no blocks, and still under 29 minutes. He had to shoot 67% to get there and was bad from the free throw line. His season continues to remain frustrating in many different ways. At least he had a big scoring output here, but the lack of peripherals is eye-opening. Denny Avdija, it just keeps chugging along, 27, 5, and 5 on 39% from the field, which is bad, but 9 of 10 from the line we love. And then Drew Holiday's also, his strong season continues, 13, 7, and 7 with 2 steals and a block. Tamani Kamara was on the buy low show. He did not get the bump. He still shot horribly. 8, 5, and 3, triple one. I believe in a points league, in a 130-man points league, you don't hold him. 130-man category league, he is borderline. I would hold, but I get if you don't. But if it's anything deeper, I think you have to, right? The role is secure, the minutes are secure, and eventually the shots will fall at a higher rate. Weird game from Klingon. He played 29 minutes, but he had 2 points. He did have 9 rebounds, but nothing else. Shot poorly. He is, for a big man, a horrible finisher around the rim, but at least the minutes pushed up. We still hold him, but he is not a particularly, I don't think, high upside player. And the Jeremy Grant cool down is happening. 35 from the field, 75 from the line, 17, 1 and 4. These are the nonsense games we got in bulk last season. We're still holding him, but we may end up getting to a drop position with Jez coming up, I think. On the Orlando side, Desmond Bane had not hit a 3 in this entire game. Again, we got broken. This guy hit one, and then he did on the buzzer to win the game. 22, 3 and 7 for Bane. It's a great buy low bump. 47% shooting. At least he got that last 3. And still not perfect. Still a lot of stuff to come, but very encouraging. Parlour was good from the field, bad from the line. 28, 9 and 3. Well, it was also another pretty good game from Wendell Carter Jr. He's not a high upside player, but 19, 9 and 5 with 2 blocks, you take that every day, right? Like, he is a top 100 player on the season, and I do believe he is a must-roster guy. And Wagner had 19, 9 and 6 with a pair of blocks. With Jalen Suggs out, it was Mr. Black who started. 8 points, 4 rebounds and 2 assists. He's been really good all season with or without Suggs. And the last few games have been back to the Anthony Black from last season, which is a player you don't want to touch. So we'd streamed him in and we'd used him sort of on the peripheries. Yeah, it's transitioning back John Kuminga style to something that we just have no real interest in. Now let's go to the next game. Lakers and Hornets. The Lakers get the win, 121-111. A little bit of a sloppy one this game. On the Lakers side, Austin Reeves did return. That meant that Jake LaRavia moved to the bench. I think you can jack Jake in most spots.
Get that garbage out of here!
That was tough to say. Like, just tougher than I thought. What we have got to address was, what is this from Marcus Smart? 37 minutes, 13, 4 and 6, and 7 steals. He has been really, really good lately. And at the moment, until at least LeBron is back, I think you roster him. LaRavia had 6 points, while Reeves had 24, 5 and 7 in his return game, and Luka Doncic had 38, 6 and 7, 5 threes. We love to see it. But if I'm going to be fair, I'm going to tell you that we got a good game from the Impitsu. The Japanese Harrison Barnes, Rui Hachimura had 21 points, but this is the ones that fool you. This is the ones that trap you. These are the ones that hypnotize you. You go 21 points, that's great. 3 rebounds, 1 assist, no blocks, no free throws, and he took 75% shooting to get there. Don't care, not adding, not a 12-team guy. I would drop him very, 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 very comfortably. Ayton had 14 and 6, a bit of an empty game from him. He's been solid, obviously, but this is not at the level of some of those other ones. While Jared Vanderbilt, who was awesome in the last game, delivered a absolute masterclass, a 1 rebound and 1 assist performance, and that is why we did not want to chase that game. It didn't make any sense that he'd be able to repeat it. On the Hornets side of the game, still no LaMelo, still no Brandon Miller. What we did get, though, is Colin Sexton returning, so Trey Mann went to the bench. So let's start with Sexton. He played only 26 minutes, 13, 0, and 3. It's not very good. And I know that he is a guy that we consider, as a general consensus, he's a must-roster player. The numbers don't suggest that. Look, he's not a top 100 guy. He's having the opportunity with Ball and with Miller out and still not putting up big numbers and didn't even hit 30 here. Look, if you're in something a bit shallower or you're a bit squished for your roster spots, I'm not sure that he's going to kill you if you drop him. Miles Bridges was questionable heading in, and then he had 34, 8 and 5 with 7 threes, while the big Areola, Conca Nipple, 19, 10 and 9, 2 threes. He started off the season a little bit slow, and then players have gone out, and he has taken full advantage, which we love to see. The concern, I guess, is when those guys return, what happens? If they return. But Knipple is putting up huge numbers. He looks completely NBA ready. He looks like the correct pick at number 4 for the Hornets. The worry here, it's just going to be... Look, I don't think there's any worry that he stays starting, right? I think he's starting no matter what. The worry is going to be like, what if Miller and Ball are there? Like, will he ever get the ball? And then what does he do? And likely nothing is the case. But for now, we roster him. If you want to sell high, you sell high. What we did have for all of you Colk heads out there is Ryan Colk-Brenner played 19 minutes only. 9 and 4. He just didn't play well, and they went with Moussa Diabate in the second half. We'll start with Diabate, who had 8 and 3, 2 steals and 3 blocks. Great, we love it. If you had him, you'd love that. Look at those defensive stats. Look at the field goal percentage, perfect 4 of 4. But I don't think that this indicates we're going to be chopping and changing. I don't think it indicates that Diabate is going to take over or anything like that. So I think we just have it for what it is, like a random game. As for Colk-Brenner, the big Colk, you just look at it and go, that's annoying, and we move forward. Sion James had 7 points in another start, and we got 20 minutes of KJ Simpson in this game because of the limitations that were placed on Colin Sexton. We're going to come back. We've got 7 more games to talk about. Today's episode, though, it is brought to you by FanDuel. The NBA is back, and there is no better place to get in on the action than with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you miss the start of a game with FanDuel, you can jump in, place live bets on who's going to score next, check out the end of the game, fourth quarter comebacks, blowouts, all that sort of thing. And you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. And right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So go to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA, and don't forget to gamble responsibly. Today's episode is also brought to you by Mint Mobile. If you're still overpaying for wireless, it's time to say yes to saying no. At Mint Mobile, their favorite word is no. No contracts, no monthly bills, no overages, no hidden fees, and no BS. You can say yes to making the switch and get premium wireless for just $15 a month. Mint makes it simple. All plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. You can even bring your own phone and keep your same number and contacts. So are you ready to say yes to saying no? Make the switch at mintmobile.com/LockedOnNBA. That is mintmobile.com/LockedOnNBA. Upfront payments of $45 required, equivalent to $15 a month. Limited time new customer offer for first 3 months only. Speeds may slow above 35 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details. Now we can get on to the next game, a wild one, an overtime game between the Pistons and the Wizards, which the Pistons win 137-135. CJ McCollum had been terrible. He'd been losing playing time. He'd been struggling to hit shots, and I thought, okay, but this is over, right? They're not going to play him. What's the point? And the last 3 games have been an insane run from CJ. 42 points in 43 minutes, 5 threes, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. He took 26 shots on 54%. It has coincided with Bilal Coulibaly being out. If you want to relate those things, I don't know. But obviously, he has turned it around quickly. Will it maintain? Like, not at this level, obviously. I don't even know that he'll maintain as a starter, but he is putting up great numbers. What you can feel okay about, I think, is dropping Trey Johnson, who played just 23 minutes here.
Get that garbage out of here!
Like I've said all along with Trey, like if he's getting 30 and 30 plus, then we watch the usage. That's interesting because he's a guy that doesn't have the great supporting peripheral stats. But when we're in situations like this, a 10, 4, and 3, he's not worth it. Chris Middleton's also really not giving us anything. 6 points with 3 steals, which is, I guess, something. And then Keyshawn George got into really early foul trouble. He is still a bit of a buy. Well, is he a buy low? It was a sell high and he's cooled off. Maybe this is more realistic, but he just can't stop getting into foul trouble. I think he's fouled out or got 5 fouls in 9 of his 11 games. He had 14, 4, and 6 in this one. He shot a little bit better. It's just been frustrating after a red-hot start, and Sarr continues his run. Now, only 44% from the field, but 15, 15, and 2 blocks is great. And then we get a random 3-block, 3-steal Marvin Bagley game. The other guy I know you're going to want to hear about is Cam Whitmore, who played 29 minutes. He had 20 points. He had 2 rebounds. He had 1 assist. He did have 2 steals. Bilal is obviously out as well. That's a couple of good games in a row from Cam, including the hard foul that almost knocked Cade out of the game. But I don't know that I'd want to add this. I think that you could try it. You can always try things. You can always try to get ahead of it, and you can always try to see if he's going to maintain this role. I don't see it. I don't see 29 minutes. I don't see 20 points. But obviously, looking a little bit better at the moment, which is better than looking worse, I guess. On to the other side of this game, which is the Pistons, and this is dominated by the fact that they just had a lot of guys out. And we'll start by talking about who was out. Tobias Harris is out, and they said he's got a high ankle sprain, so that might be another week, 2 weeks, might be longer. I don't know. Isaiah Stewart was his replacement. He's out. And then Asar Thompson was also out. And Jaden Ivey's out. And Karis LeVert was out. So that's 5 rotation players out. So when we talk about some of these performances, you'll understand why, right? Why that's important. Cade Cunningham was absolutely monstrous. 45 minutes, including that hard fall from Cam Whitmore, came back into the game to shoot the free throws, had 46, 12, and 11 with 5 steals and 2 blocks. He did unfortunately shoot 31% from the field, which is horrific on 45 attempts, and I reckon here's something to get checked back on Sunday. If you've got Cade Cunningham, did you win field goal percentage this week? I would say no. I reckon that's almost cooked you. But he went, 16 of 18 from the line after struggling a little bit there early. That's huge, huge numbers from the line. Duran was great again, 19 and 14, while Ron Holland had really early foul trouble, so he played only 24 minutes despite starting next to Javonte Green. 5 points for him. If you've got him, I don't mind a hold just because of the absence of Stewart and Harris, and he's not going to get into foul trouble, I guess, as early as this every single game, but it's clearly not great. Duncan Robinson did his thing. He hit 3 threes, part of Sam's club. And then the one we've got to talk about is Daniss Jenkins. So you've heard me mention occasionally Daniss Jenkins on this show, how we talk about the absence of Marcus Sasser, and I'll be like, Jenkins is better anyway, Jenkins is better anyway. But we actually got to see it here. 24, 8, and 3 with 4 steals and 4 threes. He took 17 shots, which is just like, lol, look, what are we doing? And he hit 53% of them. But of course, Thompson, Harris, Stewart, Ivy, LeVert, all out. Now, it is possible that those guys are all out again for the next game. And Jenkins gets a roll. But it's also possible they're all out again. He plays 25 minutes. Ron Holland plays 34. We never hear from Jenkins again. He is a good player. I think he's a solid NBA rotation point guard. I wouldn't be throwing everything away to go and get him. He played a big role against a bad team in overtime with 5 guys out. I wouldn't overreact, even as good as it was. Javonte Green had a double-double, 11-11 with 2 blocks, but yeah, we need all these guys out for him to be relevant. So again, these are ones where maybe you go, if it's a spot start situation again because those guys are out, maybe we take a look at it, but that's really about it. Now we can talk about another ridiculous game. The Spurs with the late win over the Bulls. The Bulls were in front for a big chunk of this game, and then Wembanyama happened, basically. Let's start with the Spurs. They went with the same lineup. We'll start with Wemby, who was a little bit quiet last week. 38 and 12, 6 threes, 5 assists. Would he have 5 blocks, I think? Let me double check. Yeah, 5 blocks. Just a ridiculous game from him. A perfect 10 of 10 from the line, and after some down performances, that's great. Steph Castle had another double-digit assist game. It's really interesting. This is not what was his game was last season or even the start of this year, but he's really sort of focused on that over the last few games, and he's also taking a lot of shots, man. 18 shot attempts. He has been way better than I thought. I could easily be wrong on him, and it looks like I am at the moment. I still have some real concerns, and I still think Dylan Harper's going to be better, but he is playing extraordinarily well. While De'Aaron Fox had 21, 4, and 5, and a guy that's always popping up if you go to Basketball Monster and you have a look and you look at the projection, you go, why is Luke Cornett so high? This is why. 16 and 7. A block. Perfect 100% from the field. Is he a must-add? No. But I'm monitoring it. I'm noticing it. If I'm in a 14-team league, I'd have a look at what Cornett is doing. It does help, I guess, in this one that it was a game where we had, who was out? Dylan Harper was out, but more importantly, Devin Vassell left early with a migraine. 21 minutes, 4 points. Unfortunately, I do fear that Vassell will become a droppable player this season, which is frustrating, but I think it might happen. Also, if you are rostering the pencil Harrison Barnes, Barnesy. He did have hang on, let me double check. He had a block. Jeez. 7, 3, and 2 for Barnes. He's a jack.
Get that garbage out of here!
If for some reason you decided to grab him. But it's all running through Wemby, Castle, and Fox, which is the fear for me with Harper long-term, but not long-term as in long-term this season, and with Vassell as well. Sohan played 10 minutes. Cornett just took his minutes. You do not, obviously, I'm pretty sure that should be obvious, you're not rostering Jeremy Sohan in any 12-team format. There's just no, even a 14-team or 175-player league, I don't really see how that is going to work. Let's look at the other side of this. The Chicago Bulls, they were without Josh Giddey in this game, so they started Fanapants Kevin Huerter. So we might as well start with Huerter, who's been putting up numbers irrespective of starting. He had 23, 5, and 5 in 33 minutes, and until Kobe White is back, which looks like it could be the end of this week, Huerter deserves a roster spot. We also saw a big boost for Ayo Dosunmu. 33 minutes, 20 points, 5 assists, 2 steals, and a block. Of course, we need both White and Giddey out to get there. If we want to short-term it, see if Giddey remains out. Okay, I don't think he holds, while it was also a great Trey Jones game. 20 and 7 with 7 assists and 2 steals. But again, we could look at this Huerter game, but more importantly, the Jones and Dosunmu game, and overreact to it. It's great for right now, but by Thursday, it's probably dead. It would be my guess. The GOAT, Nik Vucevic, had 11 points in 29 minutes. He shot 29% from the field. He had no defensive stats. He did have 6 assists, so shout out to him. And the drop-off from Vuce, I know you couldn't see it coming. I know. It's here, though. It is here. It is a shock, a surprise, a huge, huge shock to me. He was outplayed for the second straight game by Sticks, Jalen Smith, who had 11 and 12. He stood by his man. Now, he didn't shoot particularly well, but he has put up some okay numbers. Mattis Wazelis, it's hard to judge. Well, not in this way, right? His numbers are okay. 15 and 5, steal, block, 2 threes. You take that, but then you go, why only 25 minutes? Well, he basically got benched down the stretch, and we had Patrick Williams getting extra minutes, and Okoro only played 21, but Williams played 25 minutes in this game, and they went to more Dosunmu. I still believe in Vazelis. It's been a bit shaky for a start. I just don't like the minutes that he's getting. I want him to push 32 a game, and I thought he was going to develop into a real solid running mate alongside Giddey and White, but Donovan is really yanking him giggity at any really point that he can, and whether it's a lesson teaching thing or whatever it is. But it's been very rocky for Vazelis. Definitely hold on it. Don't do anything silly there. But that's that team missing White and Giddey. There's a lot of things that sort of elevated, like Dosunmu and Jones and even Herder, and some just other frustrating things, I guess, right around the team. In a day of like ridiculous games, we got another one. Cleveland, Miami, just like insane stuff going on in this game. Darius Garland returned, but did he? Yeah, he did, but he didn't last the game, did he? So Jaylon Tyson went to the bench, but Garland seemed to aggravate the toe injury. He had 2 trips to the locker room, and the one in the second half was it for him. He was done. I didn't tell you that the game was 140-138, that Miami wins in overtime, and we'll talk about what happened at the end of the game, and just honestly one of the best games of the season. Don Mitchell, he had the shot, the one to take it to overtime. Oh, sorry, no, the one at the end of overtime. But that wasn't, we thought it was going to be a game winner. Wasn't. Mitchell, 28, 15, and 8 with 3 threes. He didn't shoot well, but he had a huge load, giggity. And we have to just keep rostering DeAndre Hunter. My man had 23, 4, and 5 with 2 threes. Now, part of the reason I was targeting him in drafts is the absence of Garland and Strus. Garland's back, but now he's also not. So Hunter's value just keeps on rolling. And I think Jaylon Tyson's does too. We weren't sure what was going to happen here, but 9 and 9, 3 steals, a block, 31 minutes. He probably will be a starter. And I'm guessing that Garland is going to miss time. Now, I've already had the question asked, whether you jack off Darius Garland. You absolutely do not. We wait and see what is actually going on here. But go and add Tyson. Evan Mobley, not at his best. 21, 11, and 5. Still pretty good, but the free throw is horrific. Well, Jarrett Allen, this is the concerns that I had with drafting him. 21 minutes in an overtime game. He had 14 and 7. The numbers weren't bad, but they just didn't play him. They went a different direction. Sam Merrill had 12 points with 4 threes. One of Sam's club. He's a great 3-point streamer. But this is, and we haven't even got Strus here. Or Nance didn't play. And these were my concerns with Allen, is the minimization and playing Mobley at his best position. The Miami side is where we get a bunch of other things that are really intriguing that happened, including the guy that did have the game winner, a game-winning inbounds pass alley-oop to Andrew Wiggins. Let's start with Wiggo, who had 23, 2, and 5 with 2 threes on 62% shooting. Now, everything we talk about here with the Heat is under the idea that there's no Bam Adebayo and there's no Tyler Hero. We know this. But we had big performances right across the board. Wiggins was great. His value was strong. Triple H, Jaime Jaquez Jr., 22, 13, and 7 with 2 blocks. He has been a revelation. Horrid last season. Unbelievably good. And he's still not really shooting the 3-ball well at all. He's just doing a bunch of different things. The Miami team, Spoelstra has just gone, right, we're doing everything differently. Pace way up. Jaquez is just not shooting threes. He's just driving like a madman. At the moment, he is one of the best waiver wire pickups of the season. We'll see what happens when Hero and Bam are back, but he could keep going. He won't keep going like this, but he could still be relevant. And then we actually got a good game from Superman. 34 minutes, 14 and 19 steal and a block. And while Bam is out, even though there was the game last time where he wasn't very good, you do still have to hold Kel'el Ware. I know there were people that were wanting to cut bait with him after that last game out, but you do just have to hold while he is starting. Davion Mitchell was fine, like 11 points. Data assists are good. The steal is good. To me, he just remains a fringe guy. While this is, I feel a little bit better now because I was like, I don't know why you would add Little Chungus and then he was bad and then he had a huge game, but then he had 8 points in 26 minutes, Nikola Jovic. He had 8, 8, and 4. Just not a must in a 12-team format. He just isn't that guy that's going to regularly provide you enough. Palo Larson had 10, 5, and 4, which is, again, fine. It's a nice deep league one while these guys are out. I wish we could get some sort of update on Bam to know when he's actually returning, but we don't. And that makes it frustrating, but you just keep rolling with Jaquez and Powell and Wiggins and Ware. They're all must-roster guys, whereas Mitchell's on the fringes of a 150-deep league, and then you get to Larson and Jovic is like a 175-player league guy. I think is probably the more accurate way to frame him. We'll come back with the rest of the games where there's plenty of stuff to talk about, where today's episode, though, is brought to you by Game Time. With the NBA season dropping classics like we had today, nothing beats being there in the arena for these games. But getting tickets can be a pain. You're waiting in queues, you've got surprise fees, the prices that jump just before checkout. It's frustrating when you just want to be there to see the action live, and that's where Game Time comes in, the app that gives you the advantage. It's the hack for scoring amazing NBA tickets fast, easy, and stress-free. It's so easy to do. You see what you pay right there. No hidden fees, no extra things added on a checkout. The price that you see on the ticket is the price that you pay for the ticket. You can even find NBA tickets for under $25. Take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. The code is LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Today's episode is also brought to you by Robinhood. Your ambition just met its match. With Robinhood, you play for the win, not just on game day, but every day, locking in on every opening, beating your PR and beating it again. You channel that drive into your money. Robinhood puts you in control of your money, trading stocks and ETFs, options, futures, and crypto all on one platform. And you can now build and execute your own trades from a desktop with Robinhood Legends advanced tools. Or take advantage of the new Robinhood strategies with a tailored portfolio managed by a team of experts. You expect more from yourself, expect more from your money. Get started today at robinhood.com/yourmoney. Again, that is robinhood.com/yourmoney. Your money, your move. All right, we can get back into the next game now. Another one of these crazy ones. Oh, not as crazy. It's still a close finish. So the Milwaukee Bucks beat the Mavs 116-114, as I realize that is the wrong lineup up the top. That's better. There was the Bucks. 116 over Dallas. The Bucks trotted out the same starting group here. Yanni was a monster again, 30 and 8, 6 assists and 3 blocks. He has been ridiculous to start this season. And we actually got a huge game from the future MVP, Kyle Kuzma. He's been trending up in his playing time with Taurean Prince out long term. At least makes us consider Kuzma. Consider it and rightly reject it, but we consider it. 26 and 5 for Kuz in 32 minutes, while Rollins had 13 and 8 assists with 2 steals. And a big game from our big boom, AJ. 13 with 4 threes and 5 rebounds. He remains one of the Sam's Club, one of the 3-point streamers. Miles Turner, not his best, but 14 and 7 steal and block is okay. You'd like a little bit more than that. And we actually got Bobby Portis's playing time pushing up. Frustrating that Turner, like he wasn't in the game for most of the fourth quarter. He did come in for the final few minutes, but he wasn't playing, and that's why Portis got more minutes. 13 and 7 for Bob. We still don't look at him as a 12-team league guy, while Cole Anthony and Gary Trent did absolutely nothing. Just 3 points for Gaz in his 27 minutes, while Cole had 4, 5, and 3. There's not a lot of takeaway there, apart from that big scoring explosion, a big usage explosion from Kuzma. I'd like to see a couple more of those before I think that that's something that we're super excited about, but it's something to monitor, again, especially with that Taurean Prince absence. For the Dallas side of this game, they made the change. And we've talked about this for a little bit of time, saying that D'Angelo Russell's bad and Brandon Williams might just be better than him. Well, Brandon Williams started. He played 33 minutes. He had 19, 6, and 3. And he shot poorly. And I think he would have had more assists had his teammates made some of the shots. He, to me, is an ad. You add Brandon Williams now. Who knows what happens? And then obviously Kyrie can come back at some point. But Brandon Williams is a clear ad. And that means that hopefully for the final time, we can jack off D'Angelo Russell.
Get that garbage out of here.
Najee Marshall, unsurprisingly, didn't back up his other game. He had 9 and 5 in 25 minutes. He's a stream guy only, not a 12-temmer. And Cooper Flagg, this is it. Like, so much more comfortable with a competent guard out there. When saying that about Brandon Williams is interesting, isn't it? 26 and 9, 4 assists, 2 steals, and a block. Good. Max Christie also, again, just providing nice, like 175 player league value, maybe even into 150s and 12s. 13 and 5 with 3 threes and 3 blocks, while PJ Washington had 16 and 7. Of course, there is still no Anthony Davis, and there's still no Derek Lively, so Daniel Gafford played 23 minutes, and he had 7 and 8. I do not think that you have to consider Daniel Gafford a must roster. This is his time to actually put the numbers up, and he's not really doing it. You can hold him, no problem if you want to do it, but I do think that when Lively and Davis are there, he's just not going to play enough. Musa Cisse came in as the first big off the bench in this one. 20 minutes for him, 7 and 4 with 2 blocks. That's obviously just double Onyx stuff, but it is worth noting because he is a two-way contract player and it's a good performance. While Clay, again, yeah, my guy, 6 points in 17 minutes. Clearly not going to cut it. Now, this next game was a huge blowout. The Suns, they've been really good lately. They knocked off the Pelicans 121-98. Let's talk about the Pelicans. Jeremiah Fears played 31 minutes. He had 15 points with 3 threes and 3 steals. And he shot horribly. And honestly, these are the sort of games that I think you can expect. This is what the college stats showed. Like, again, not the hugest assist guy. The steals are pretty good, but horrible field goal percentage. And he's a good free throw shooter. I do think that you'd probably want to roster him, but it's very much on the fringe. Like, if you said, I want to drop him for Brandon Williams, Williams at least has a track record of being very useful for fantasy. So I would get that. Another good game from Derek Queen. The Blizzard plays his usual 25 minutes, plays his usual, for whatever reason, Bill Green keeps doing this, his final 16 minutes of the game. I have no understanding of what this rotation pattern is, but 12 and 6 with 2 steals. At the moment, while Zion and Poole are out, and Eve Missy was available to play but got DMP'd, which is something, Queen is worth having on your roster. It was good to see my man Carlo Makovic play 17 minutes. That is just deeper league stuff. While Bay had 15 and 7, he's more 14 teams. Looney was there for a reason that I'm not really sure. And Herb Jones has been very disappointing, I would say, for most of this season. I think you're in a point league. You don't bother. There's no reason to have Herb Jones on a 150-player, 12-man roster in points. No way. Don't bother with it. Categories, it's going to be better, I think, but we're moving into the territory of, his real value comes from turnovers, which, of course, Walker Kessler's going to be providing the same amount as him as we move forward. So I'm not quite there with him, but it's been a really, really disappointing start. 4 assists and 2 steals for Alvarado, which is useful in a few different formats, but probably not one we want to look at in most. And Murphy had 21 and 10. The big questions of all this stuff is going to be when or if, let's say when, Zion and Jordan Poole return, and what does it do to these other guys? And when or if Bill Green ever decides that, hey, the only way to play Jeremiah Fears is just let him run the final 16 minutes of a game, which again is just an insane strategy of why is this your pattern every single game? I don't get it. I don't understand it. Someone explain it to me, please. For the Suns, we don't have that updated time frame on Jalen Green yet, but Grayson Allen, oh my God, 28 minutes, 42 points, 10 threes, 4 assists, 3 steals, just an absolute must-roster player. Royce O'Neal, a must-roster player, 14 and 5 with 4 threes. Devin Booker didn't even need to do much here. He only had 19. And then Colin Gillespie, only 13 minutes. That's really disappointing. I thought Gillespie would be able to maintain value, even though Brooks was back, and he did not. I don't know that I would necessarily run to drop Colin Gillespie, but I can see that being the case. And if you wanted to do it, like, that role is clearly not enough. Dylan Brooks probably does deserve a 12-man, 12-team, 150 player points league roster spot. Categories, it's up in the air. I mean, we didn't get a good Mark Williams game, but when the game's like this, they didn't need to push him. Part of the reason that Gillespie didn't play as much was Jordan Goodwin played 23 minutes. He only had 4 points, but he had 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 steals. And we know Goodwin. He's one of those random G League two-way guards that when they get minutes, they always put up stats, like Brandon Williams for the Mavs. He does it all the time. I don't think that he's going to take that Gillespie role, but you obviously preference O'Neal and Allen and Brooks over Gillespie, and we see where that lands. Ryan Dunn also absolutely not a 12-team league guy.
Get that garbage out of here!
He had 2 points in his 24 minutes. We had another interesting game with an interesting lineup change. The Minnesota Timberwolves and the Utah Jazz. The lineup changes on the Jazz side. Let's start with the Wolves. They rolled out the same starting lineup. They were up, and the Jazz did come back to make it a little bit closer. 121-13, the final score. Julius Randle just keeps going, man. I still don't buy a lot of the stuff, but he hit 92% of his free throws. He had 3 steals. He just keeps getting stuff done. There are certain things that I believe will regress, but also I have usually been higher on him than the general consensus, the general ranks, and the general ADP. So while I might tell you that it's a sell high, I still do believe a bit in him more than others. Jaden McDaniels, 16 and 6 with 2 steals. Very solid game from him. And DiVincenzo had 14 and 2, and I think 3 whacks in the face, and a steal and a block. Naz Reid got extra minutes. Yeah, I don't know if he did much with him. 7 points in 28 minutes, and he has been a pretty sizable disappointment. We're definitely moving in a 10-team. I don't think you need to hold Naz, and in a 150 12-team man league, I don't know if you need to do it either. Edwards had 35, 6 and 6 with 5 threes. While I didn't do it yesterday when he had a big game, but I should have done it. But Rudy Gobert.
Rudy Gobert.
14 and 12 for Gobert with 2 blocks. And after some really disappointing games early in the season, he is starting to come on and he looks a lot better at the moment. We hope that he's able to maintain it, but it's looking very strong at the moment, where there were times where I had plenty of people asking about whether Gobert is a drop, but I guess this one was only because it was a revenge game. Let's talk about the Jazz, because they did make the change. Ace Bailey moved into the starting lineup. Was he good? He was pretty good. 28 minutes for Ace, 10 and 7, 3 steals. You love getting those steals. He took only 9 shots. There were some bad ones in there. He's going to be rough. He's going to be, wing-sized Jeremiah Fears. If you want to go grab Ace and get ahead of it, do it. There are going to be significant detriments to his overall game. In a points league, different story. Like, just grab him in a 12-team points league. Category league, I probably would grab him, and then let's just see where it goes. It is early, but I think we stamp it. I think Keontae George is real. I think that this is just him turning the corner. It's not even just like a few. It's every game. 27, 6 and 6. He shot well. He was great at the line. He looks awesome. While Isaiah Collier started one game, moved to the bench, played 16 minutes and had 7 assists. Now, the 7 assists are useful, but that is how I would view him, as an assist specialist and not a 12-team must. It's a terrible game from Jusuf Nurkic from a shooting perspective again. But you know the game we're going to play. He is, and has been for a while, one of the worst finishing big men at the rim. He's been one of the worst. He is not a particularly efficient player. He's terrible at it. But I do not believe that Jusuf Nurkic is an 18% shooter, because that's what he shot here. That's terrible. Well, let's cover the points. He had 1 3, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal. Okay. I don't even think he's even close to a 50% guy. So what did he go? 11, 2 of 11. Let's make it 4 of 11. Just give him 2 more shots, right? 10 and 10, 3 assists. I think that actually covers sort of what you want. Let's make him go 5 of 11, 12 and 10, 3 assists and a steal. Let's make him go 50% from the line, 13 and 10. Like, these are not like outrageous numbers. Hey, shoot 45% and 50% from the line. And I know he hasn't done it, right? I am not dropping on the back of I don't believe that he's an 18% shooter. I just don't. I don't believe he's a 20% shooter or a 30% shooter. I don't believe he's a 50% shooter, but I don't believe he's this bad. So I will hold him. Filipowski played 26 minutes, but like that's not enough for me. 7, 3, and 3. I'd need to see him starting, and even then, he probably needs a few usage guys to clear out. While Markkanen had 21 and 8, he's cooled off after that hot start, which was always going to happen, and settling into probably the right spot now. I don't think there's much else on that side. Svi Mykhailiuk had 10 and 3 with 3 threes. He's probably in the Sam's Club of the threes streamers, and it wasn't him that moved to the bench in this game. We saw that Taylor Hendricks and Kyle Anderson were both at it. It was Collier who'd been on the bench. So they are keeping Svi in there, and Ace is playing his more natural position at the 3, which is interesting. When we talked about this team in the preseason, it was like, I think Ace is a 3 and Markkanen's a 4, but you got all these big men. Like, where do you fit in Filipowski and Hendricks? Well, the Kessler injury clears a little bit of that out, but we're just seeing they're just prioritizing getting Ace and that shooting of Svi in there, and not worrying as much about Filipowski and Hendricks and their development, not as prioritized. So that's an interesting development overall. But Ace, I do think you need to be, I don't think you need to be rostering him at this point. So there is one game left. The Atlanta Hawks and the LA Clippers. The Hawks win at 105-102. No Nickeil Alexander-Walker here, but Jalen Johnson returned and Kristaps Porzingis returned. Let's start with Porzingis. He only played 26 minutes, but he still had 20 points. He hit a 3, and he had 3 blocks. It's not perfect. The 9 of 9 from the line is great, but we'd like a few more minutes. Still, the production's okay. Jalen Johnson, also nowhere near his best. 44% shooting, 16, 10, and 8 steal and a block. I'm not really that worried about what he's doing. And then Dyson Daniels delivered the steals. He delivered the assists. He had 3 steals. He had 8 assists. The shooting was off, but he's sort of back into the range that I think that most of us expected, that 40 to 60 type area. And it obviously has been helped by Trae Young being out. Keaton Wallace started. Usually you get some assists out of him. You got 1. That's yuck. Like, he's a stream guy. Maybe if Alexander Walker is out, but this was not a good game, and neither was it a good game from Zach Ricochet, who could not hit field goals, 36%, and went 1 of 4 from the line. I do not believe that Ricochet is a 12-team league guy.
Get that garbage out of here!
But should we talk about Vic Krejci? Krejci's sort of been really limited this season. They haven't played him very much, and he just went absolutely crazy here. 69% shooting, 28 points, 8 threes. It's just one of those ones where he got hot. He stayed in the game. He was a terror to the Clippers, and we can basically write it off, I think. If he was a starter, I'd be a little bit more interested, and maybe they start him over Wallace in the next game if Alexander Walker's not there. But overall, that's just one of those random outliers. We go, all right, cool, good game. What am I going to do? I don't think anyone would have had him in their lineups or anything like that to go against, but it was definitely one of those out-of-the-blue type performances. The Clippers side of this game, still no Kawhi. And Bradley Beal is going to be out for a while, apparently. But we also heard the comment from Ty Lue that John Collins is going to be in the starting lineup for a while. Now, I guess my question with that is, okay, but what about when Kawhi is back? So who moves to the bench in that scenario? Is it Chris Dunn? And you've got Harden, Jones at the 2, I guess? Like, that doesn't... Does Jones go to the bench? I'm not really sure. We'll start with Collins, because he wasn't good. 9 and 7, steal block, 27%. But 30 minutes of John Collins is enough to be rostered. Grab him if dropped. Derek Jones was solid enough, 2 steals and 11 points. He's really just a deeper league guy. And Jim Harden continues to do like everything that he can. It's just not enough though. 35, 10, and 11 with 6 threes. Let's do a Zubats check. Only 30 minutes. 13 and 12 with 2 blocks. It has been quite disappointing from Zubats this season. There's been good games, and there have been times when you think, oh, he's trending back to 33, 34 a night. But he's still only averaging, I think, 30 minutes a night at the moment. And the production's it's fine. It's solid. It's not like top 30 or anything along those lines. Decent game from Chris Dunn, 36 minutes, 11 points, 2 steals, but we know what that is. That's a stream sort of a guy who is probably the one that loses the most when Kawhi does return. Also interesting, Cam Christie playing minutes in the first quarter, like 3 straight games. He's not really doing much, 3 points there, but he was a guy that just barely played for all of last season, and now he is a part of the rotation, which is, again, that's always an interesting development when something like that happens. Shall we do the lines of the night? We probably should. Monstrous, let's go. Let's do it. The Monstrous does go to I don't think there's a huge surprise here. We're going with Cade Cunningham, although it was close. 46 and 12, 11 assists, 5 steals, 2 blocks. You can just ignore the field goals, but the rest of the stuff was awesome. The waiver wire line of the night and the young gun of the night is the same person. It's Cade Cunningham's teammate, Daniss Jenkins. 24 and 8 with 3 assists and 4 steals. Sass is out a long time, so Jenkins is going to play the backup role, but he's not going to be this good. He's probably not even going to play this many minutes, and they had 5 rotation guys out today. And your dud of the night, we don't include injured guys in these discussions, so I couldn't put Devin Vassell into the mix, but the dud of the night, the worst performer that is highly rostered, we're talking Jake LaRavia. He is a pretty clear jack.
Get that garbage out of here!
Marcus Smart, the guy that's looking more like it. Obviously, Jared Vanderbilt not doing that there either. And that is the end of the recap, guys. That is a big day in the NBA. 9 games on. Absolute bangers, like, all over the place. Have we had a day in the NBA with as many good games like this season? Maybe like one of the first 2 or 3 nights. It was just ridiculous. Huge performances, blow-up performances, interesting fantasy names stepping up. Ace Bailey, Brandon Williams as guys starting to step up and go, oh, maybe these are guys we go and grab. You can grab the thumb up button here and hit it. You can double bang. You can leave your comments down below. Guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.